Hello, my dear friends. Today we are going to talk about a man who made millions of people laugh without speaking many words. A man whose face, expressions, and strange little actions became famous all around the world. Children laughed at him. Adults laughed at him. Even people who spoke different languages understood him. His name is Mr. Bean. But behind Mr. Bean was a real man, an intelligent, quiet, and creative man named Rowan Atkinson. Many people know the character, but not everyone knows the story of the person behind that character. Today, we will explore his childhood, his education, his family, his private life, his struggles, and how he created one of the most unforgettable comedy characters in history. Let us begin at the beginning. Rowan Atkinson was born on January 6, 1955, in England. He was born in a small town called Consett in County Durham. His father's name was Eric Atkinson. His father was a farmer and businessman. His mother's name was Ella Mae Atkinson. She was kind, caring, and deeply supportive of her children. The family lived a simple and disciplined life. They were not poor, but they were not celebrities or royalty either. Rowan grew up in a peaceful countryside environment. As a child, Rowan was not loud or attention-seeking. In fact, he was quite shy. He spoke carefully. He observed people deeply. He often felt different from others. He had a slight stutter when speaking quickly, and sometimes this made him nervous in social situations. But something interesting was happening quietly inside him. He was learning to observe human behavior. The way people walked, the way they reacted, the way they moved their faces. These observations would later become part of his comedy genius. Many people think comedians are only funny, but Rowan Atkinson was also extremely intelligent. He studied seriously in school. He attended the Chorister School and later St. Bees School. He was excellent in academics, especially science and engineering. Later, he studied at Newcastle University, where he earned a degree in electrical engineering. But he did not stop there. He continued his education at the Queen's College, Oxford. Oxford is one of the most famous universities in the world. There, he studied for a master's degree in electrical engineering. This surprises many people. The man who played silly Mr. Bean was actually highly educated and intellectually gifted. While studying at Oxford, something important happened. Rowan became interested in acting and comedy. He joined student performance groups. At first, he was nervous on stage, but slowly, he discovered something powerful. People laughed when he performed, not because he spoke loudly, but because his expressions and timing were unique. He had a special ability. He could make ordinary situations funny. And he realized something important. Sometimes silence is more powerful than words. Rowan was different from many comedians. He did not depend only on jokes. He depended on expressions, body movement, timing, awkward situations. He studied comedy carefully. He admired silent comedians like Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton. These performers could make audiences laugh without long conversations. This deeply influenced Rowan's style. At Oxford, Rowan met a man named Richard Curtis. This friendship became very important. Richard Curtis was a writer. Together, they began creating comedy material. One had creative ideas. The other had unique performance skills. This partnership would later help create some of Britain's most famous comedy programs. Success did not come immediately. After university, Rowan performed in small comedy shows. Some people loved his style. Others did not understand it. This is normal for creative people. When you are different, people often need time to understand you. But Rowan did not give up. He continued practicing. He improved his performances slowly. Eventually, Rowan became part of a comedy program called Not the 9 O'Clock News. The show became popular in Britain. People noticed Rowan immediately. His strange expressions and unusual energy stood out. He was not trying to look perfect. He was willing to look silly. And that is one reason comedy works. True comedians are not afraid of embarrassment. Now we arrive at the moment that changed everything: the creation of Mr. Bean. Rowan wanted to create a character who could make people laugh in any country. A character that did not depend heavily on language. He imagined a man who behaved like a child inside an adult body. Strange, curious, selfish sometimes, but also innocent. And so, Mr. Bean was born. Mr. Bean was different from normal television characters. He spoke very little, sometimes only small sounds. But audiences understood him perfectly. Why? Because human expressions are universal. A smile, confusion, embarrassment, fear. Everyone understands these emotions. This made Mr. Bean famous around the world. Even people who did not speak English loved him. Mr. Bean's appearance became iconic. The brown suit, the red tie, the tiny green car, and of course, his teddy bear. These small details made the character unforgettable. But behind the comedy was careful thinking. Nothing was random. Every movement was planned carefully. While Mr. Bean was becoming famous, Rowan himself remained private. Unlike many celebrities, he did not enjoy constant public attention. He married Sunetra Sastry in 1990. She worked as a makeup artist. Together, they had 2 children, Benjamin and Lily. Rowan tried to keep family life peaceful and away from excessive media attention. He valued privacy deeply. One interesting thing about Rowan Atkinson is this. In real life, he is very different from Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean is childish and chaotic. Rowan is intelligent, calm, and thoughtful. He enjoys cars, engineering, and technology. In fact, he became famous for his love of expensive and fast cars. He even owned rare sports cars. This shows something important. Actors are not their characters. Behind comedy, there is often a serious and intelligent person. When the television series Mr. Bean was released in the early 1990s, something extraordinary happened. People everywhere laughed. Not only in England, not only in America, but all around the world: Asia, Africa, Europe, the Middle East. Children laughed. Adults laughed. Even people who did not understand English understood Mr. Bean. Why? Because Rowan created something universal. Most television shows depend on language. But Mr. Bean depended mostly on facial expressions, movement, timing, embarrassing situations. This made the character special. You did not need subtitles to understand him. A confused face is understood everywhere. A silly mistake is understood everywhere. This is why Mr. Bean became one of the most internationally loved comedy characters in history. Mr. Bean was not a perfect hero. He was awkward, sometimes selfish, sometimes childish. He made mistakes constantly, but that is exactly why people loved him. Because human beings are imperfect. When people watched Mr. Bean fail, they recognized something familiar. The character reminded people, it is okay to be strange. It is okay to make mistakes. It is okay to laugh at yourself. Many people think comedy is easy, but true comedy is extremely difficult. Timing matters. Expression matters. Movement matters. 1 second too early, the joke fails. 1 second too late, the moment disappears. Rowan understood this deeply. He practiced carefully. Sometimes he repeated scenes many times until every movement felt perfect. This level of detail is what made Mr. Bean feel natural and unforgettable. As Mr. Bean became more popular, Rowan Atkinson became world famous. People recognized him everywhere, airports, restaurants, hotels. This may sound exciting, but fame also brings pressure. You lose privacy. People expect you to be funny all the time. Sometimes the world sees the character more than the real person. In real life, Rowan was not loud like Mr. Bean. He was thoughtful and calm. He enjoyed quiet hobbies. One of his biggest passions was cars, not just driving, understanding them. Remember, Rowan studied engineering. He loved mechanics and performance. He owned many luxury and sports cars throughout his life. He even participated in professional car racing events. This surprised many fans. The silly Mr. Bean character came from a man with a highly analytical mind. Soon, Mr. Bean moved beyond television. Movies were created. Bean, 1997. Mr. Bean's Holiday, 2007. These films became international successes. Again, audiences everywhere laughed. The humor remained simple and human. Mr. Bean could turn ordinary situations into chaos. A train ride, a hotel stay, a holiday trip. And somehow, people loved every disaster. Although Mr. Bean became his most famous role, Rowan Atkinson created many other successful characters. One important example was Blackadder. This television series showed a completely different side of Rowan. In Blackadder, he played intelligent, sarcastic, and clever characters. The humor was sharper and more verbal. This proved something important. Rowan was not limited to one style. He was a versatile actor. He could perform silent physical comedy and intelligent spoken comedy. But success creates expectations. When one character becomes extremely famous, people often want only that character. This can become difficult for actors. Sometimes the public forgets the real person behind the role. Rowan once admitted that performing Mr. Bean could be physically exhausting. The facial expressions, movements, and energy required great effort. Comedy may look effortless, but behind the laughter is discipline. As years passed, Rowan continued balancing fame and private life. He tried to protect his family from excessive media attention, but celebrity life is never simple. Eventually, his marriage to Sunetra Sastry ended. After many years together, they divorced. Divorce is painful for anyone, famous or not. It reminds us that success does not protect people from emotional struggles. Even those who make the world laugh experience sadness and change. One surprising fact about Rowan Atkinson is this. He sometimes struggled with shyness and nervousness in real life, especially in ordinary conversations. This may sound strange for a world-famous comedian, but many creative people feel more comfortable performing than speaking naturally in social situations. Acting gave Rowan structure and control. It became a way to express himself. Making people laugh does not mean a person is always happy inside. Many comedians carry private struggles. Comedy becomes a gift they offer the world. Rowan's life reminds us, a smiling face can still carry stress, fear, or loneliness. This is why kindness matters. We never fully know what another person carries silently. Over time, Mr. Bean became more than a television character. He became part of world culture, even today. Children watch Mr. Bean clips online. Families watch old episodes together. People still laugh at scenes created decades ago. Very few comedy characters remain timeless. Mr. Bean did because the humor was built on human behavior, not temporary trends. Perhaps this is the secret behind Mr. Bean's success. Inside every adult, there is still a child, a curious child, a confused child, a playful child. Mr. Bean expressed this openly. He made mistakes without shame. He explored the world with curiosity, and in a strange way, he reminded people to laugh more gently at life. Mr. Bean teaches us something important. Life does not need to be perfect to be joyful. Sometimes people become too serious, too stressed, too worried about appearance. But laughter is healing. It softens the heart. And sometimes a simple laugh can make a difficult day easier. As the years passed, Rowan Atkinson began performing Mr. Bean less often. Many fans wondered why. The answer was simple. Playing Mr. Bean required enormous physical energy. The expressions, the movements, the awkward body language, all of it demanded intense effort. And as Rowan grew older, he felt it becoming more difficult. He once explained that he did not want the character to become sad or uncomfortable to watch. He wanted people to remember Mr. Bean with joy. This shows wisdom. Sometimes knowing when to slow down is also part of success. Even after reducing Mr. Bean performances, Rowan did not disappear. He continued acting. He worked on films, voice acting, and comedy projects. He also became involved in stage performances and public discussions. Unlike many celebrities who constantly seek attention, Rowan preferred a quieter life. He focused on meaningful work instead of endless publicity. One interesting part of Rowan Atkinson's life remained constant: his love of engineering and cars. He owned many famous cars over the years. Some were extremely rare and expensive. But for Rowan, cars were not only luxury objects. He admired their design and mechanics. This reflects his personality deeply. Even while making people laugh, part of his mind still loved engineering and precision. The intelligent university student inside him never disappeared. In 2011, Rowan was involved in a serious car accident while driving one of his sports cars. The car crashed and caught fire. Fortunately, he survived. People around the world were shocked when they heard the news. Many fans realized something important in that moment. Behind Mr. Bean was a real human being, not just a television character, a man with a life, risks, emotions, and fears. One reason Mr. Bean remained popular for decades is because the comedy stayed simple. Modern entertainment changes quickly. Trends appear and disappear. But Mr. Bean stayed timeless. Why? Because human behavior never changes completely. People still make mistakes, feel embarrassed, get confused, try to hide problems. Mr. Bean reflected ordinary human weakness in a funny way, and instead of judging those weaknesses, he made people laugh at them gently. Very few characters are loved equally across different cultures. But Mr. Bean connected people everywhere. Why? Because laughter is universal. You do not need perfect English to understand. A funny face, a silly mistake, an awkward situation. Children in Asia laughed. Families in Africa laughed. Viewers in Europe laughed. This made Mr. Bean more than a British television character. He became a global symbol of humor. At first glance, Mr. Bean seems childish. But perhaps that is why people loved him. Modern life is stressful. People worry constantly. Money, work, problems, responsibilities. But Mr. Bean looked at life differently. He approached ordinary situations with strange curiosity, like a child exploring the world, and sometimes this reminded adults of something they had lost: playfulness. Rowan Atkinson's life teaches another important lesson. He was highly educated and intelligent, but intelligence alone does not create connection. What made him special was his understanding of human behavior. He knew how people think, how people react, how people feel embarrassed or confused. This is wisdom, and wisdom often creates deeper art than knowledge alone. Many people are afraid of embarrassment. They want to appear perfect. But comedy requires vulnerability. To make others laugh, a comedian often becomes foolish on purpose. this takes courage. Rowan was willing to fall, fail, look strange, look awkward. And through that vulnerability, he created joy for millions. As Rowan grew older, he became even more private. He avoided unnecessary media attention. He spent time focusing on family, work, and personal interests. After his divorce, he later entered another relationship. But overall, Rowan preferred calmness over celebrity culture. This reflects another important truth. Not all famous people enjoy fame. Some simply enjoy creativity. Even today, decades after the original television series began, Mr. Bean remains famous. New generations continue discovering the character online. Short clips still receive millions of views. Why? Because true creativity does not disappear. A truly memorable character lives beyond time. My dear friends, let us pause for a moment. Sometimes people think laughter is unimportant, but laughter heals. It reduces stress. It softens pain. It connects people. During difficult times, even one small moment of laughter can help the human heart. And this is what Rowan Atkinson gave to the world. Not just comedy, relief, joy, warmth. His story teaches many lessons. You can be shy and still become successful. You can be intelligent and creative at the same time. You can be different and still connect with millions. And perhaps most importantly, you do not need to become loud to be unforgettable. Rowan did not become famous by copying others. He became famous by embracing his uniqueness. When people think of success, they often imagine power, money, or fame. But real success is deeper. Real success means creating something meaningful, bringing joy to others, leaving a positive memory in people's hearts. And Rowan Atkinson did exactly that. As we come to the end of this journey, remember this. Sometimes the quietest people create the loudest impact. A shy boy from England who loved engineering and silent comedy created a character that made the entire world laugh. That is the power of creativity. That is the power of staying true to yourself.